Now, going over to the business blunder of the day, you have Best Buy recalling air fryers, which perhaps isn't the worst thing they've done. I remember last year they were actually outed for having discrimination in their hiring practices, as well as their discrimination for employees who had religious affiliations. Now, this comes to us thanks to Fox 8 News, and they say no, quote, thousands of air fryers sold at Best Buy are being recalled. An awkward headline. I had to reword it a little bit. Now, this is according to the U.S. Consumer Safety Protection Commission. They say that, quote, approximately 187,400 Insignia air fryers and air fryer ovens sold in the United States and nearly 100,000 more sold in Canada are being affected by the recall. Now, the CSPC say the devices, which have cooking capacities of 3.4 to 10 quarts, can overheat, causing the handles or glass doors to break or melt, unquote. Which, how cheap are you with the engineering and the materials to where an item produced for the sole purpose of heating up melts and breaks? That is one of the... It's almost as if you have a car with wheels and the brake calipers are made of, well, pixie sticks. I mean, there's technically material there, but of course, if you actually try to stop and the brake pads try to smash on the caliper will just explode into dust. Like, I don't know from an engineering perspective that's impossible to compress sugar that much to get it to be temporary solid, but more of a solid. But nevertheless, they noted that there have been 24 reports of, quote, overheating / melting or glass shattering, including 6 reports of air fryers catching fire. Now, to actually see if your unit is affected, you have to look for these awe-inspiring marketing names. The units are called NS-AF34D2. Also, NS-AF5DSS2. Also, NS-AF5MSS2. Additionally, NS-AF8DBD2. Additionally, NS-AF10DBK2 and NS-AF10DSS2. Unquote. All inspiring model numbers. Now, looks like you can contact Best Buy if you want to call 1-800 number and torture yourself. That's 566-7498. Again, 800-566-7498. And you can call for a refund. Now, this almost defeats the purpose of having brick and mortar. They know that consumers should not return the devices to Best Buy stores to make it even more prohibitive. So, realistically, I don't know if they're going to just send you a new replacement, but I don't think there's any business sense where they actually pay to ship it back. I mean, one of the biggest business blunders in history was Microsoft with the Xbox 360, where, thanks to environmental regulations in the EU, they had to use a crappy thermal paste so that the ECU, the connection between the GPU and the board and the circuit, it would actually just crumple away to nothing. So it'd overheat because, again, you need the thermal paste to keep it cool. And they actually did the right thing for the consumers. They had, sending your Microsoft Xbox 360, they would fix it. But I mean, that business blunder cost them $1 billion between the shipping and repairing and all that. I mean, the shipping and logistics, that's going to be, what are you talking about? It's going to be thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. And they note that you can also go to the Best Buy's website, which, that's probably the most expedient way to actually do this type of recall. And then, of course, they tell you to immediately stop using them and contact the company for a refund or Best Buy credit. So realistically, you'll probably just read a serial number off your individual unit, and they'll probably just tell you to throw it away, which isn't going to make a lot of people happy because, again, that's not very green. A lot of people are taking that into marketing consideration these days. And this is terrible for Best Buy considering they keep trying to pivot away from the traditional legacy electronics. And even though they did kill hardware last year in terms of they got rid of physical media, which is detrimental for history preservation and also, standing against censorship and actually owning, material in terms of owning entertainment. But they keep trying to pivot more into, home item goods, health goods, with those types of items. And yet, this isn't the first recall they've had for this category of product that they're trying to increase their market share with. And again, I wouldn't shop at Best Buy just because of how morally vacuous they are with their hiring discrimination, their managerial discrimination. Spoiler alert, they wouldn't let you enter the manager training program unless you were of a certain race. Which again is illegal. They should be sued into oblivion. So it'd be interesting to see how this affects the brand of Best Buy, how many people still shop there. I know maybe 2 of them. Let's just say if you don't have an HDMI cord in stock, you're useless as a business. You're supposed to be an electronic store. I'll never forget that. A couple years ago, that happened to me when I had a cord break and I needed one like in minutes. But nevertheless, having an issue where you have such a large recall and it's also also a safety recall for a product that's defective. Now, thankfully, it sounds like no one has been detrimentally hurt from this particular incident. So they're a little bit ahead of the game in that regard. But still, having a recall where you have this important product category you're trying to grow, and yet you have this detrimental issue where you have the product so piss poorly designed where it actually explodes or it shatters the glass or melts just from using it when this primary thing is to heat up. And I gotta say, that is certainly the business blunder of the day. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in. Again, we're trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you could click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, take the time to give me a like or thumbs up or thumbs down. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, as well as sharing the video to help the YouTube algorithm. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.